Alright, Shalom, Makian. This is the brother Kalab from GMS Dallas, and I have the brother Yaquab with me as well. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh. Also, we want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule well. Peace and love to you brothers out there that are kicking this word in sincerity and truth, and to the few sisters that do listen and blessings to the elect. You know, we just want to go into a quick lesson, man, on something that, that is always being brought out, but, we just wanted to go into, once again, to expound on some things, man, because, right now we haven't, it's like a little, defending the gospel against, other camps and also against, the Christians, man. So we want to go into how the Bible should be read as a novel. It should be read. It's a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? You have to put pieces together, man. You know what I'm saying? So just jump straight into it. This is Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk are drawn to the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little, So we just want to go in and explain how, precept works, precepts are commandments, man, So we just want to go into a few examples of, how the Bible should be read, and we're going to kick this lesson off.
Fine, yeah, because, you got a lot of people. I mean, there was an example given at camp yesterday. You can read the whole Bible, right? Genesis to Revelations, all the way through, man. Read the whole thing, right? But at the end of the day, man, all you're gonna know is like the stories and the scripture. You're gonna have maybe some scriptures memorized, but you ain't gonna be able to, like, you ain't gonna have any understanding on them.
Sure, you're not gonna be able to tie different scriptures into worldly events, man. You're not gonna be able to like I said, no understanding. How you gonna know what's going on? All you're gonna do is be able to quote scriptures, man. And that's different. Quoting scriptures is good to know, but, like, do you understand where you're coming from? You know what I'm saying? Do you understand how those scriptures actually correlate with the things that's going on today? Or how can you correlate the Old Testament with the New Testament? And that's what precepts do. Precepts are verses that have, it's in one book, and it'll be in 10 books over, and it'll reiterate the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes it will expound on that first scripture a little more,
Yeah, man. You can go into the whole, for example, in Genesis, going back to all the way to in the garden, man. If you read it straight up, verbatim, people, you're gonna think that it's talking about actual trees, but you gotta precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, man, to understand what them trees is talking about,
Another.
And
verse 9 it said, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? It said, them that are weaned from the milk and drawn to the breast, like the milk. That's why, we started this series in the first place. You know what I'm saying? To expound on, we're going to try to expound on more milk. The milk is that foundation. You know what I'm saying? When you first coming in, first understanding and learning the scripture, the milk is that foundation, man. That's what holds your faith in place, man. So you have to learn that milk. You just can't jump into those heavy breakdowns that the elders and apostles know, man. You know what I'm saying? You'll stop it up, and then some stuff that you'll hear that you've never heard in before will kind of shake your faith, man. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta start with the milk. You know what I'm saying? Then it said that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. You gotta slowly but surely understand, man. Slowly but surely gradually grow in the truth, and that's what precepts will help you do, man. Because you'll find one verse, like you said, that'll say something, and you're like, okay, now how do I understand it? And like some people have precept Bibles. And it has, sometimes it has precepts on the side that you can go to. It can help you expound on that, man. It helps you go into different things. You know, that's how the elders and apostles taught us here at GMS.
Yeah. Come on, man. Once you the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You gotta, in order to really understand these scriptures, man. First and foremost, man, the Most High has to be dealing with you.
That's right.
You can't just go, to church and expect to just, be able to understand the scriptures, man, because they're not dealing with, the Spirit ain't dealing with them. You gotta, in order to understand one scripture, you gotta go back to a different whole other book, on a different chapter and a different verse.
That's right, yeah.
I'm gonna bring this out real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 1, right? I'm gonna start off at verse 2. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, right? To perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgments and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels, man. Those wise counsels, are our elders, our apostles, brothers teaching the truth in GMS, man. Those are wise counsels, The truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is wise counsel.
That's right.
And here's the point, verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings, man. And what does it mean by dark sayings? It's talking about these parables, this way of speaking and way of saying things. You know what I'm saying? That's why Yahushua told, that's why the disciples asked Yahushua, man. They were like, hey, why are you speaking to these people in parables?
Right.
Because, and Yahushua was like, man, because it was given unto you to understand the mysteries of heaven.
Exactly. Not them, man. That's what they understand. Like it says in Proverbs, trust is
yeah.
You lean not to your own understanding. And that's what people do. It's their own understanding of how things are supposed to go. I was more a self-taught prophet, man. I kind of did it on my own, man. No, bro. You have to be taught, man.
Yeah, man. Salaki, go ahead.
No, I was just saying you gotta be taught. You just can't, like I said, you just can't jump off the porch. And it's true, man. You have to, like I said, you have to grow. You have to have that milk. You have to have that foundation, man. Because without that foundation, man, your house has nothing to stand on, man. It's on fire, bro.
Yeah, you gotta build that house on a stone ground, and not on sand. I'm gonna bring out a word in the Hebrew. Take it to the basics. Pretty much the word proverb. What it means in the Hebrew, and it goes into it says proverb, parable, right? Proverb, proverbial saying, aphorism, byword, similitude, parable, poem, sentences of ethical wisdom, ethical maxims, right? There's two words that I wanted to look up real quick. Aphorism, right? Which is right here. Which I looked it up, and it says a pithy observation that contains a general truth, such as if it ain't broken, don't fix it. A conscious statement or scientific principle, typically by ancient classical authors. But like it says right there, a pithy observation that contains a general truth, man. And that's this truth,
It's the scriptures, man, the Bible, man, both testaments, man, are puzzle, man. Like, you cannot read this like a Harry Potter novel or some type of, like library book, man. This is something that has to be pieced together so you can understand well, man. Let me give an example, right? You got precepts, here a little bit. You got Acts 17-24. They say, Yahweh that made the whole, that made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is Lord of heavens and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. You got that. That's Acts 17:24. Then you got Acts 7:48. It said, howbeit, the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as said the prophets. You know, it's those were, precepts, man. There was two verses that expound on each other, because as says the prophet, which means that was said before, man.
Yeah, yeah, and which is pretty much they were reading from the Old Testament. You know, that's the precept. You know, is that all? Is that it on that one? Because I wanted to bring out another word. So the other word in that same Hebrew word parable is sentences of ethical wisdom, right? Now when and I brought this out in another video that I had made, but you know, I'll bring it out again. You know, that word ethical. You know, there's different. Well, I'm gonna read them. The first one is relating to moral principles or the branch of knowledge dealing with these, right? And then the point was of a medicine legally available only in a doctor's prescription and usually not advertised to the general public, man. You know, and this truth is not advertised to the general public, man. You know who's that doctor, man? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. He prescribed this medicine, this truth, only to the elect, man. And not everybody's gonna get it, man. Not everybody's gonna understand. You gotta read precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, to be able to get a full understanding of the scriptures, man. You gotta be able, like we just read in Proverbs 1, man. A wise man will attain unto wise counsels, right? You know, if somebody tells you, hey, you got to look up this word, you got to go back to the Hebrew, you got to look up the etymology to get the full understanding, or else you ain't going to get it.
Like this, and that's the thing a lot of people don't do. A lot of people don't. It tells you in the scriptures to study and show thyself approved unto the Most High, man. You know, and a lot of people don't want to study, man. They think you can just read it straight through, go to church and scream, hallelujah and cry every now and then, and you're supposed to be good. So nobody really, like, and that's why it said, hold on, bring it back up. That's why I said, whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand the doctrine? You know? Yeah. So those that have been, weaned from the breast, weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast, man, those are the people that decided to grow within this truth. Now, a lot of people get in, they learn a few things, and now they want to go back and regurgitate the knowledge that they have heard, but they don't understand it, man. So when you ask them to break down something, they're like a parrot. They only repeat what they have heard. And you'll tell them, oh, well, this scripture going to that. You know what I'm saying? This scripture going to that. How can you tie that in there? They can't tell you because they haven't studied, man. Yeah. They haven't dug into the truth, man. So that's why, being able to understand the Bible, being able to, connect the puzzle pieces, being able to read precept upon precept, line upon line, being able to understand it, you know what I'm saying, that it is here a little and there a little, that will help you, grow. And that's how, you can understand better, man.
Hey, that right here in Proverbs, when I was reading in verse 6, it has that little, those little side notes or whatever, pretty much a different way of, just a different word to the word that's in the verse. So they got right here next to I'm gonna read the verse first. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, and they got the little two lines right on the side of interpretation, and then on the side it says, or an eloquent speech. So it's like there's a certain manner, that the Yahushai spoke and that the prophet spoke. And there's a certain way that these scriptures, pretty much are written, They're written,
like I said.
Yeah, selected. No, I was going to say that, they're written in eloquent speech,
Sure. And that's how, like, and that's why many people don't understand it, because they it's like, I had a person tell me, that I'd rather read, the NIV version of the Bible, because I don't understand this, though, and thou, and stuff like that. I was like, but it tells you to study,
Yeah.
Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to get, because not are going to be able to understand this, man. So it's not for everybody. It's not for the understanding the scripture is not for the faint of heart, man. Because like when I first came into the truth, man, I heard things that that I hadn't, what I'm saying, I was looking dumbfounded, And that's what made me, you know what I'm saying, like I said, a man should be persuaded in his own mind. That's what made me want to go into learning and see how it's done, man. See how the scriptures are broken down. Like that will make you like the rape doctrine, the virgin birth, you know, things like that. I'm like, man, I've never heard this before, man. You know, but some people hear that and they're like, oh, I don't want to hear it, man. You know, and they stuck in their ways, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why putting the puzzle pieces together, like by putting the puzzle pieces together of the scriptures, that's how you are able to understand, man. That's how you're able to. You're not gonna be offended by hearing the rape doctrine, man, or the virgin birth, because now you understand more, you know.
Yeah, come on, man. Hey, if you gotta find yourself a Bible like NIV or some different translation that you think that needs to be, you know, be able to, you know, pretty much translated to be made easier for you to understand, then ultimately the Most High ain't dealing with you at all, man. Like if you're not willing to read the version that was pretty much directly translated from the Hebrew and the Greek, you know, pretty much closest thing in English that you can get to, you know.
Right.
You know, if you can't.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you know, if you can't, you know, if you gotta go to the NIV or some bullshit ass translation, then, you know, and the NIV ain't even got all the scriptures in it, man. They took out like a whole.
No, they took out a bad amount of scriptures, man.
Yeah, you know.
So how can you understand precept upon precept within that Bible, man?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How can you get the full story if they have taken out scriptures from you?
Man, the simplest, most easiest way to fucking make a Christian look stupid is, you know, tell them to go to a verse that they don't got, but you got in your KJV.
Man, right. So, God, brother. God, yeah, that'll throw them off big time. You're like, well, this verse, you know, it's not in here. You know, that's how they feel, though. Like, and that's crazy to me that I'm glad you said that, because, you know, most Christians or people, New Testament only, they was like, well, you know, well, the New Testament, he came and he did this. But I'm like, if that's the case, then, like, how did he learn the scriptures, man? He had to read the Old Testament, and we are to follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. We have to follow his commandments. If he followed the old commandments, then don't we have to follow, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, you know, stupid to only believe in the New Testament, you know?
Yeah, God.
Like, if he followed the Old Testament, then don't we supposed to follow the Old Testament? They say, the first thing they say is, oh, I want to be Christ-like. You know what I'm saying? But he followed the Old Testament, didn't he?
Yeah, God.
So to be like him, you have to do the same thing.
Yep, that's right.
You know, so that's what the Bible is. It's like you said, it's a puzzle. It needs to be put together to understand. So, you know, precept upon precept must be precept, line upon line, here a little there. That's how you understand, man. You got to put the pieces together. You know, if you don't put the pieces together, you will not understand. And what it said knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability in our times. And if to have stability in those times, you have to understand the scriptures, man.
God. Yeah.
And well, you know, if you got anything else, you know.
I'm just gonna finish Proverbs. You know, I just got one more verse. This is back in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. No, the beginning of wisdom is fearing the Most High, man. You know. That's pretty much part of the milk. You know, having that fear of the Most High, man. Once you have that fear of the Most High, man, you know, that's the beginning of wisdom, man. That's the beginning of understanding. You know, setting yourself apart from this world. You know, because nobody but the elect, you know, are truly gonna fear the Most High. You know.
Yeah, like, could you read just the last part of that verse about the fools?
Yeah, this is verse 7, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
And like you said, precepts are commandments, man. They are instructions. And fools despise that, man. They don't follow the commandments, man. You know?
Yeah. Come on,
so
man.
It's like you said, like, you know, regardless if they have read the whole Bible from front to back, you know what I'm saying? Know every verse in there, know how many times words appear in there. if they don't understand it and if they don't know how to correlate another verse with another verse to expound on how things basically break down things, then they're it's like I said, the Most High is not dealing with them. They have no understanding.
Yeah. Gone. That's right. You got anything else you want to bring out?
No, that's it.
Alright, yeah. Well, that's all I had.
Well, with that being said, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem,
Yahushai.
double honors to the apostles and elders, great men, to only do well. Blessings to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.